Today we're smoking a rack of some baby back ribs on my brand new Z-Grills pellet grill, and to top it off, we're going to be using my brand new honey barbecue rub along with a few of my barbecue sauces. I'm going to break down step by step how I make these ribs. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'll share with you how you can get a free bottle of barbecue sauce. With all that being said, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is put some of these little rubber gloves on so that way nobody in the comments section tells me how much of a dirty pig I am. These are just some simple baby back ribs that I picked up from Walmart. For this rack it was $11.65. So now we're just going to open up our rack of ribs. Make sure you get some paper towel, take out this rack of baby back ribs, wipe off all these factory juices that it comes with, because God only knows what they put on there. If you've ever worked in a meat factory, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. Next up, we're going to remove the membrane. On baby back ribs, it's really easy to remove the membrane in one piece. All you're going to do is take your finger and find a bone, peel this little layer of membrane back, and then you're just going to very carefully work your finger down in there. Now I talked myself up like this is going to be easy, and now I'm struggling with it. So now you're just going to very carefully work this membrane up, follow that bone down all the way underneath to the back side, and now you could just take your fingers underneath and lift up, but make sure you're holding the rack of ribs down with your other hand, and then you can get it all off in one nice go, just like that. Now if you're smoking spare ribs at home, those always rip and break on me. I usually have to re-pull it like 3 or 4 times to get it completely off. If that really frustrates you, you could just go ahead and score it along the back. The reason why we take it off is because seasoning doesn't really penetrate into the meat through the membrane. Next up, I always look for any little hanging bits like this. This is just gonna burn up in the smoker. It's not gonna be really good when you go to serve it. It's gonna be overcooked. Let's flip it over onto this side. This little hunk of fat is actually pretty thick. So we're gonna go ahead and shave it down just a little bit without taking off any of the meat. This right here was just a big hunk of fat. It's not gonna render down in your cook. It's gonna leave a bad bite in your mouth. This right here too, it's just a little bit too thick for my liking. Now the rest of these look pretty good to me. Now this next step is gonna be completely up to you, just depending on who you're serving and how you want this to be presented. This side of the baby back rib is really, really thick and meaty, and this side over here is really thin. So you guys know what that means. When this is done, this is gonna be overdone. So you could cut off this last bone if you want, and you could smoke it on the side, pull it off later, and this could be like a little snack. And then your rack of ribs will be a little bit more even. This is something that only really pertains to baby back ribs. Spare ribs and St. Louis style cut ribs are pretty even all the way across. For the purpose of today's video, I'm just gonna leave this how it is. Today we're gonna be seasoning these baby back ribs with my honey barbecue rub. I personally love the sweeter barbecue rubs, so this is totally tailored to my taste buds. So let's go ahead and open up the shaker bottle, and we're gonna flip this to the underside. Today I want to go with a really heavy coat because we are not using any sort of all-purpose seasoning. And all the sugars and salts in here are going to penetrate this meat. It's going to create a nice crust and a nice bit of char action. Today I'm not using a binder, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pat in the seasoning into the meat. I'm gonna make sure I get my edges. And then we're gonna flip the rack of ribs over. And we're gonna season up this top side. Go ahead and pat in the rub. Now on these baby back ribs, if you guys look, there's a lot of exposed meat down here. So I like to just pick it up, kind of hit it on that cutting board. And now we are all seasoned up and ready to go. If you didn't use a binder, I recommend letting this sweat out on the cutting board for about 15 minutes. So while we let the sweat out, we're gonna go outside and get our smoker started. We're gonna be using my brand new Z-Grills pellet grill. And today I'm gonna be smoking at 225 degrees. And I'm using some cherry pellets. So as soon as our smoker is heated up and rolling at 225, we'll go ahead and get these on. So let's go ahead and open up the smoker. We're gonna go ahead and lay these ribs on the middle rack. And I just wanna get them shaped up so that way they are nice and straight. I'm gonna let these sit on here at 225 degrees in this cherry smoke for about 90 minutes. At that point, I'll come out and I'll evaluate whether or not I wanna spritz. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get it shut down. We're gonna let these baby back ribs get nice and smoky until we're ready for the wrap. So stick around to the end of the video and I'll share with you how you can get your free sauce. Our baby back ribs have been rolling for a total of 90 minutes now. Let's go ahead and open up the Z-Grill and see what we're working with. All right, guys. We are starting to get some beautiful color in here. We're starting to dry out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and use a spritz. This is 50-50 apple cider vinegar and water. We just wanna get some spritz on the ribs. The purpose of the spritz is just to get some moisture on the exterior of the ribs so that way they don't dry out. We have a ways to go on our ribs still. I'm gonna come back out in 1 hour. So at the 2.5 hour mark, we'll see if we're gonna let it go any longer or if we're gonna be ready to wrap at that time. We're now at the 2.5 hour mark. Let's go ahead and open up our Z-Grill. As you guys see, this Z-Grill smokes really, really nicely, and our ribs are looking beautiful, getting a little bit dried out again. Let's go ahead and get another little spritz on there. And then we're gonna get a little temperature reading. All right, if you guys can see that, we're at 161 degrees. I'm comfortable letting it go another 30 minutes before we put it in our wrap. So I just pulled these ribs off the smoker. I have some sheets of aluminum foil down. And the first thing I'm putting down is my Texas peach barbecue sauce. So I'm just gonna go ahead and squirt some of this down right here. And then I'm gonna take some of my honey barbecue rub. We're just gonna dust on a little bit of this. Normally I use brown sugar for this, but since this has so much sugar in it, I think that it's gonna work perfectly great. And I'm actually fully out of butter. I know it's pretty embarrassing. I feel like my life is a mess right now. You'd think I'd have my stuff together making YouTube videos, but I don't. So if you have butter, I normally would use butter here also. And I like sweet, so I'm gonna do a couple little drizzles of some honey. Then I'm gonna take the ribs and I'm gonna put the meat side down. Gonna kind of wiggle that in there. Now I'm just gonna repeat the process. I'm gonna take some of my barbecue sauce, just gonna drizzle it on there. Take some more of that rub. Sprinkle that on there. Take some of our honey. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna get some of that honey all over there. Now I'm gonna take the edge of my foil, wrap up both edges. I'm gonna crimp one side all the way over, tuck it in. We're gonna get this side wrapped up and over, just like that. We're gonna go ahead and get it back on the smoker. We're gonna set this right back in the same spot that we were smoking it earlier. I want these to be tender, juicy, fall off the bone ribs, so I want my ribs to get up past 200 degrees. So I'm gonna check on this periodically off camera, and then I'll show you guys the next step that I do once these reach my desired temperature of around 200+ degrees. Our baby back ribs have been in the wrap for about 2 hours now, so let's go ahead and get a temperature reading and let's see where we're at. Then I'm using the Thermapen 1 just to verify what our temperatures are. Look at that. We're at 200 degrees in that spot. I'm gonna go ahead and get these ribs out of the wrap, out of that juice that it's in, and then I'm gonna set them back on the smoker grates, and then we're gonna glaze them. Get a little bit more rub on here for anything that got washed off. Then I'm gonna take some of my original barbecue sauce. We're gonna go ahead and do a couple lines right across these ribs. And this is more of a vinegary based sauce, so I'm not gonna thin it down at all. We're just gonna paint this on real nice. When you let your barbecue sauce sit in this heat for about 15-20 minutes or so, it caramelizes real nice. It gets all tacky on there, sticky, and it adds just a great caramelized, sugary exterior flavor that I really love. So next time you see me, it'll be eating time. What's up, you guys? This is my favorite part of the video where I get to dig into these delicious ribs. I've had them resting for about 10 minutes now. Let's go ahead and get some slices. I'm gonna flip this over onto the back, and we gonna get some little slices out of these ribs. I am so excited, guys. Oh my gosh, these look so good. These are some nice, juicy ribs. Z-Grills did a great job. Before I dig in, I get a lot of frequently asked questions. Let's answer them all right now. I used my Z-Grill's pellet grill at 225 degrees throughout the entire cook. I used cherry pellets. I smoked it for 3 hours, then it was in the wrap for 2 hours, and then about 15 minutes in our glaze. I spritzed it twice at the 90-minute mark and at the 2.5 hour mark, and I'll make sure I have links to everything that I use down in the description below. I'm not gonna make you guys wait any longer. Let's go ahead and dig into these delicious baby back ribs. Oh my gosh, look at that bite. The honey barbecue rub is savory and sweet, and it goes really, really good on these pork ribs. We use that Texas peach barbecue sauce, some honey, and a little bit more of that rub. Then we glazed it with my original barbecue sauce. This is a win-win. I hope you guys try this recipe at home. You can buy this rub and these sauces at nicksbarbecueshop.com. I'll ship them to you right out of my basement. And I did say at the beginning of the video that I was gonna give one person a free barbecue sauce. So all you need to do for that is to go go to nicksbarbecueshop.com, pick out the original barbecue sauce or the Texas barbecue sauce, and then use code FREE. That's FREE. And if you go to nicksbarbecueshop.com and enter that code and you're not the lucky one person to get the free barbecue sauce, I'm running a deal right now to where if you buy the rub and both the sauces, I'll give you 10% off. And I want to give a huge shout out to the #1 subscriber on this channel who's commented the most on my videos out of anybody, Orlando. Email me and I'll give you a special discount code for whatever you want from the store. I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches these videos and has supported me all the way up until this point. It's an absolute dream come through. It's an absolute dream come true. It's an absolute dream come true to have my own sauces and my own rubs. And all of this is able to happen because of you guys at home watching these videos, making these recipes, and sharing them with your friends and your family. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And please, when you get these rubs and sauces, comment down below and let me know how you like them, what other flavors, styles of things that you want me to try to get my hands on, and I will do that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting a new video every single Friday. And who knows, maybe you'll be one of the ones that get a free sauce. So that was a very long outro. I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you guys next Friday. Peace.